The Silent Years. The Galaxy's Forgotten Species. The Galactic Council chamber floated in the void between star systems, a massive station where representatives from 200 civilized species gathered to discuss matters of trade, territory, and war. Ambassador Thalen of the Varn Collective stood at the central podium, his crystalline body refracting the light from 1,000 viewing screens. His voice resonated through the chamber with barely concealed contempt. "And what of the humans?" he asked, gesturing to the empty seat reserved for Earth's representative. 50 years they have held observer status, 50 years of silence. They watch, they listen, but they contribute nothing. They build nothing of value. They fight no battles. They claim no territories beyond their pitiful solar system. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. The Korthan delegates, massive bear-like creatures with 6 arms, nodded their approval. The slender, floating whispers chimed their consensus. Even the peaceful Meridian Coalition remained quiet, offering no defense of humanity. Thalen continued his address, his confidence growing with each word. "The humans are a curiosity at best, an irrelevance at worst. They possess one habitable world, a handful of orbital stations, and mining operations on their neighboring planets. While we expand across star systems, while we build empires and forge alliances, the humans remained locked in their corner of space, too afraid to step into the greater galaxy." What Thalen and the rest of the council did not know was that someone from Earth was listening. Captain Sarah Chen sat in the observation room, 3 levels below the main chamber, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing Thalen's speech. She was 42 years old, with short black hair beginning to show silver at the temples, and eyes that had seen too much of the galaxy's cruelty. Her uniform bore the insignia of Earth's Strategic Observation Corps, a division that most aliens didn't even know existed. Sarah's hands clenched into fists as she listened to Thalen mock her species. Beside her sat Commander James Rodriguez, her second-in-command, a stocky man with a weathered face and a tactical mind that had earned him respect throughout Earth's military. "How much longer do we have to listen to this?" James muttered, his jaw tight with frustration. "As long as the protocol demands," Sarah replied quietly. Her voice was steady, but James could hear the strain beneath it. "We observe, we record, we do not engage." The silent protocol had been established 50 years ago when humanity first achieved faster-than-light travel and discovered they were far from alone in the universe. Earth's leaders, faced with the overwhelming scope of galactic civilization, had made a controversial decision. Rather than rush into the complex web of alliances, conflicts, and politics that defined the galaxy, humanity would watch and learn. They would take no sides, claim no new territories beyond Sol system, and build no military presence that might threaten other species. It was a decision born of wisdom and caution, but to the rest of the galaxy, it looked like weakness. The price of observation. Sarah's attention shifted as new footage appeared on her secondary screen. The images came from Kepler 442b, a planet in a star system 18 light-years from Earth. Humanity had established a small research outpost there 10 years ago, carefully positioned in an unclaimed region of space. 37 scientists and support staff called it home, studying the planet's unique ecosystem and conducting astronomical observations. The footage showed Varn warships dropping out of faster-than-light travel above the planet. They were elegant vessels, built from the same crystalline material as Thalen's body, catching and bending light in beautiful, deadly patterns. Sarah had studied Varn ship design extensively during her 15 years in the Observation Corps. She knew their weapons, their tactics, their standard operating procedures. She also knew what was about to happen. "Please tell me we're going to do something," James said, his voice thick with emotion as he watched the Varn ships take position above the research outpost. Sarah wanted to say yes. Every instinct she'd developed during her years in Earth's Navy screamed at her to act, to protect those people. But she had her orders. The silent protocol was absolute. Humanity would not engage in military action. Not yet. The research station sent out a distress signal, broadcasting on all frequencies that they were peaceful scientists conducting legitimate research in unclaimed space. They requested dialogue, offered to evacuate, pleaded for mercy. The Varn response was a single message in perfect English. This system now belongs to the Varn Collective. Your presence is unauthorized. You have no power to resist. You have no allies to call. You are alone. Then the first energy beam lanced down from orbit. It struck the main research facility, vaporizing the structure and everyone inside in a flash of superheated plasma. The outpost's defensive shields, designed to protect against radiation and micrometeors, might as well have been tissue paper. 2 more beams followed, destroying the landing pads and the small shuttle that represented the researchers' only hope of escape. 37 people dead in less than a minute. Scientists who dedicated their lives to peaceful exploration. Gone. Sarah felt tears burning in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Not here, not now. She had a duty to watch, to record, to remember. Someone had to bear witness to this atrocity. "The Council needs to see this," James said, his voice shaking. "This was a direct attack on a peaceful installation. The Varn violated a dozen treaties." "The Council won't care," Sarah replied bitterly. "We're not a member species. We're just observers. And the Varn are powerful enough that no one will challenge them over 37 humans nobody's ever heard of." She was right. When Earth's official representative, Ambassador Michelle Park, presented the evidence to the Galactic Council the next day, the response was exactly as Sarah had predicted. The Council expressed regret over the unfortunate incident, but noted that the research station had been in a disputed region of space. The Varn claimed the system, and without military presence to contest that claim, their ownership was now recognized under galactic law. Ambassador Thalen offered a dismissive apology that fooled no one. The Varn Collective regrets any loss of life. Perhaps this incident will encourage humanity to reconsider their passive stance. In the real galaxy, territory belongs to those strong enough to claim and hold it. The growing threat. Over the following months, the Varn Collective grew bolder. They began expanding their territory at an unprecedented rate, absorbing unclaimed systems and pushing into regions held by smaller, weaker species. The Galactic Council issued statements of concern but took no action. The major powers, the Korthan Empire, the Whisper Confederacy, the Meridian Coalition, were locked in their own careful balance of power. None wanted to risk war with the Varn over territory they didn't personally value. And through it all, Earth remained silent. Sarah watched as the Varn fleet grew larger, as their territory expanded like a cancer across the galactic map. She filed her reports, analyzed their ship movements, and studied their tactics. She did her job, even as frustration gnawed at her every single day. Other members of the Observation Corps felt the same way. They would gather in quiet corners of Earth's orbital stations, drinking coffee or stronger beverages, and talk in low voices about what they were seeing. Good people were dying out there. Entire civilizations were being subjugated by the Varn or other aggressive species, and humanity did nothing but watch. Why did we even go to the stars if we're just going to hide? Lieutenant Chen, no relation to Sarah, asked one night in the officers' mess aboard Observation Station Delta. He was young, barely 30, and the helplessness was eating at him. Captain Maria Santos, a veteran observer with 20 years of service, gave him a sad smile. "Because our leaders are playing a longer game than we can see, Lieutenant. They have reasons for the protocol, even if they don't share all of them with us." What reasons could possibly justify letting the Varn murder our people? He shot back. Maria looked around the mess hall, making sure no one else was listening. Then she leaned in close. "Have you ever wondered what Earth has been doing for the last 50 years? We have thousands of the brightest minds in human history, unlimited resources from asteroid mining, and 50 years of detailed intelligence on every major species in the galaxy. Do you really think we've been sitting idle?"
Sarah, sitting nearby, caught Maria's eye. The older captain gave her a subtle nod, a gesture that said she knew something, or at least suspected something. Sarah had her own suspicions, rumors she'd heard from friends in Earth's military-industrial complex, odd budget allocations she'd noticed when reviewing administrative documents. But suspicions and rumors weren't certainty, and the silent protocol remained in force. The ultimatum. The breaking point came on a cold January morning, Earth Standard Time. Sarah was in her quarters aboard Observation Station Alpha, reviewing intelligence reports when the emergency alert sounded. Every screen in her room switched to show Ambassador Park's face. She looked older than Sarah remembered, the stress of her position written in every line on her face. This message is being broadcast to all Earth observation stations, military installations.
The awakening. The revelation. The 30 days of the Varn ultimatum passed in strange tension. Earth's observation stations continued their work as if nothing had changed. Captain Sarah Chen filed her daily reports, monitored Varn fleet movements, and maintained the facade of business as usual. But beneath the surface, something was shifting. Sarah could feel it in the encrypted messages that passed between observation stations, in the unusual activity she noticed on long-range sensors pointing back toward Sol's system, in the way her superiors smiled when they thought no one was watching. On day 28, Sarah received new orders. They were brief, direct, and unlike anything she'd ever received before. Captain Chen, you are hereby reassigned to Earth Defense Fleet, effective immediately. Report to Luna Shipyard Facility 7. Bring your complete observation records. Your cover assignment is over. Welcome home. Sarah stared at the message for a long moment. Cover assignment. Those two words confirmed what she'd suspected for years. The Observation Corps hadn't just been watching the galaxy. They'd been preparing for something. The shuttle ride from the observation station to Luna took 6 hours. Sarah spent the time reviewing everything she knew about Earth's military capability, which wasn't much. The silent protocol had applied to Earth's own citizens as much to aliens. Military developments were classified at levels that even veteran officers like Sarah couldn't access. She knew Earth had orbital defense platforms around the homeworld and basic patrol ships for protecting mining operations in the asteroid belt. But beyond that, her knowledge was limited. When the shuttle approached Luna, Sarah's assumptions shattered. The moon's far side, permanently hidden from Earth and carefully shielded from observation, was covered in construction. Massive shipyards stretched across hundreds of kilometers, surrounded by defensive platforms and sensor arrays. But the shipyards themselves were empty, just skeletal frameworks and docking clamps with nothing attached to them. "Where are the ships?" asked the pilot. The young lieutenant smiled. "You'll see soon enough, Captain. Welcome to the party that's been 50 years in the planning." Facility 7 turned out to be a command center built into Luna's subsurface. Sarah was escorted through corridors of gray lunar rock reinforced with advanced materials, past security checkpoints with guards wearing uniforms she'd never seen before, until finally she reached a briefing room. Inside, she found 24 other officers, all of them looking as confused and excited as she felt. Admiral Marcus Webb stood at the front of the room. He was 65 years old, a legend in Earth's military who'd supposedly retired 15 years ago. Apparently, his retirement had been as real as Sarah's observation assignment. "Ladies and gentlemen," Webb began, his voice carrying the authority of someone who'd commanded fleets in battle. "For 50 years, the galaxy has thought of humanity as weak, passive, and irrelevant. We've been mocked, dismissed, and ignored. Our people have been killed without consequence. Our territory has been violated without response, and through it all, we remain silent." He paused, letting the weight of those words settle over the room. That silence ends today. What I'm about to show you is classified at the highest level. Until this moment, fewer than 1,000 people in the entire solar system knew the full scope of what we've built. You're about to become part of that small group. Webb activated the main display. Sarah gasped. So did everyone else in the room. The screen showed ships. Not just a few ships, but hundreds of them, thousands of them. They floated in formations across the outer solar system, from the asteroid belt to the Kuiper belt, hidden by the most advanced stealth technology Sarah had ever imagined. Each vessel was marked with transponder codes and technical specifications that made her head spin. "For 50 years," Webb continued, "while the galaxy watched us play the role of passive observers, every resource of the human race was directed toward a single goal, ensuring that when we finally did speak, the entire galaxy would listen." The fleet revealed. Webb walked through the technical specifications with the precision of someone who'd lived and breathed this project for decades. Sarah learned that the observation stations hadn't just been collecting intelligence. They'd been testing grounds for new technologies. Every alien ship that passed near an observation station had been scanned, analyzed, and studied. Human engineers had taken the best ideas from 200 different species and improved upon them. The stealth systems that hid Earth's fleet used principles borrowed from the Whisper Confederacy's phase shift technology, enhanced with human innovations in quantum mechanics. The weapons combined Corthan plasma acceleration with Varn crystalline focusing arrays and human electromagnetic railgun designs. The defensive shields were layered systems that could adapt to different types of weapons in real time, something no other species had achieved. But the real innovation was in the command and control systems. Human computer technology had always been advanced, even before contact with alien species. 50 years of dedicated development had produced artificial intelligence systems that could coordinate fleet movements with a precision that organic minds couldn't match. Combined with human intuition and creativity, these AI systems made Earth's fleet far more dangerous than its numbers suggested. You are all here because you're the best officers Earth has produced. You've spent years studying alien tactics, strategies, and capabilities. Now you're going to put that knowledge to use. Each of you will command a strike group in the Earth Defense Fleet. Your mission is simple. Demonstrate to the Varn Collective and the entire galaxy that humanity is not prey. Sarah found herself assigned to the EDS Prometheus Rising, a heavy cruiser that served as the flagship for Strike Group 7. The ship was enormous, 3 times the size of the largest vessel she'd ever commanded, bristling with weapons and wrapped in armor that could withstand direct hits from anything in the known galaxy. When she finally boarded the Prometheus Rising, Sarah stood on the bridge and felt a sense of rightness she'd never experienced before. This was what she'd been training for her entire career, not watching helplessly as her people died, but protecting them with the full might of human ingenuity and determination. Her crew was assembled within hours, 300 officers and enlisted personnel, each one a specialist in their field. Lieutenant James Rodriguez, her old second-in-command from the Observation Corps, grinned when he saw her. "Told you there was more going on than we could see, Captain." "You knew?" Sarah asked. "Suspected. My sister works in the shipyards. She's been dropping hints for years." He looked around the bridge with obvious pride. "We built something incredible here, Sarah. Something the galaxy has never seen before." First contact. The Varn ultimatum expired on a Tuesday. At exactly midnight Greenwich Mean Time,
every Earth observation station, every diplomatic mission, every human presence in alien space simultaneously broadcast the same message. It was delivered by Admiral Webb himself, his image transmitted across every communications channel humanity had access to. To the Varn Collective and all species of the Galaxy Council, humanity has received your ultimatum. We have considered your demands. Our answer is no. On Sarah's tactical display, she watched as the Varn fleet began moving. Thalon had positioned 300 warships around the Sol system's perimeter, confident that Earth had no choice but to surrender. Those ships now began accelerating toward Earth, their weapons charging for bombardment. Webb continued his message, his expression calm and confident. For 50 years, we have observed the galaxy. We have learned your strengths and your weaknesses. We have studied your tactics and your technologies. And we have prepared. The silence you mistook for weakness was actually patience. The passivity you mocked was actually discipline. Today, you will learn the difference. Sarah felt the neural link activate, connecting her mind to the Prometheus Rising's tactical systems. Around her, the bridge crew did the same. It was similar to the neural sync technology that other species used, but enhanced with human neuroscience and quantum computing. She could feel the ship responding to her thoughts, weapon systems coming online, shields adjusting their frequencies, engines warming up for combat acceleration. All ships, Webb's voice came through the fleet communications network. Disengage stealth.